From Spontaneously Combustible Studio in Cleveland, Ohio, presented by Permanently Geek, this is Uncovered. I'm Michael McFarland. With me is my co-host, Mr. Kevin Conaway.
Hello.
Even though we've already featured one of his songs on the show, very recently, David Bowie passed away. And so he's been such a massive influence on pretty much every form of modern music since he came on the scene, that we thought it would be lax of us to not do a special episode dedicated to him. So most of the time, we don't know what's going to be under this cloth. We're cheating again.
Yeah, we cheated. Today we know.
Today we know what's under there. So shall we do the honors?
Let's.
So, the way we're doing it this time, we are doing 3 cover versions of different David Bowie songs by different artists. So, what we have this time around is we have Ziggy Stardust, covered by Bauhaus. We have Heroes, covered by the Wallflowers. And we have Under Pressure, which David Bowie did with Freddie Mercury, covered by The Used in My Chemical Romance. We are going to listen to all 3 of these songs in their entirety. You will only hear short clips. So we'll be right back.
Ziggy played guitar, jamming good with wit and giddy, and the spiders from Mars. We can be heroes, just wanting of knowing what this world is about. Watching some good friends scream, let me out.
And we're back. That was a lot of fun.
That was, yeah.
One of the things that I commented last time we did an episode featuring David Bowie was how hearing other musicians playing his music always makes me appreciate it more, because most of David Bowie's work that we're all very familiar with, not counting Black Star, his new release, which is a pretty awesome way to say goodbye. That's
Yeah, I mean, that is interesting. I'm glad you brought that up too, because he released that on his birthday, and it was unfortunately 2 days later that he passed away. But
yeah, it's. I mean, you could kind of tell that he knew, and it was his goodbye, and
it kind of was. Yeah.
I mean.
It's an album worth checking out too. There's some
even
good, very experimental stuff on there too. Like even that late into his career, he wasn't just resting on his laurels. He was still as experimental as ever on that album. And
even taking away the fact that it was written and released so close to his passing, it's worth listening to, just by its own merit. So you should definitely check out Black Star.
Yeah, Lazarus alone is a fantastic song.
But apart from that, what the songs that most of us know by David Bowie are very sonically anchored in their time. There's no mistaking when you listen to most David Bowie songs that they were written and released in the 70s and 80s, and that's kind of hard to escape. And hearing those same songs re-recorded by artists in different time periods, and hearing how well they still work in those different contexts, it just gives me that much, not that I didn't have immense respect for David Bowie in the first place, but it just elevates it that much from beyond, okay, he's classic rock act that was a pioneer for his day, but he was also a phenomenal writer.
Yeah.
Take away any of the fashion, take away any of the different characters, the personalities. Yes, indeed. Yeah. But you take away any of that, and it's just great songwriting.
Yeah, the music is still great. The songs are still expertly written, ahead of their time, and so influential to almost everything that has come out since then.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's and not even just as far as musicians go. I've had so many friends sharing stories about how we're musicians. We're friends with a lot of people that are kind of outcasts. They were never the cool kids.
Yeah.
And David Bowie was the ultimate outsider, and he owned every inch of that.
Oh yeah. He certainly speaks to that crowd. He is that crowd.
Right. So it's, for those of us that never quite felt like they belonged, he was someone who was like, that's cool. Do your thing.
Right.
Seriously, be who you want to be, and that's the coolest you will ever be.
Yeah.
And
he was so cool because
I
of it.
I know. What's interesting, so we had a ton of different covers to choose from because there have been so many musicians that have been so deeply influenced by David Bowie that it was hard to pick. And actually, two of my favorite Bowie songs didn't manage to make the cut here. Believe it or not, my favorite Christmas song is his duet with Bing Crosby, the Little Drummer Boy duet.
Yeah.
And Life on Mars is my favorite Bowie song.
My favorite has always been Ashes to Ashes, which also didn't make it into our list. And I think there's a band called Warpaint that does a cover of that. That's not too bad either.
So check that out.
Yeah. So.
So what did you think specifically of the different covers, though? Like what? This was a really difficult decision for me.
This was a really difficult decision for me too, because I think when you look at the three covers side by side, I can't say that any of the three of them was outlandishly different from the original. It was just kind of more of an updated version and a sound that kind of fit the band that was playing.
Right.
So when you take like Bauhaus, who or Bauhaus, as they call them in Canada.
In Canada.
In Canada.
Bauhaus.
Bauhaus.
Oh yeah.
When you take Bauhaus, who's a dark wave band, it likes to use like loud crunching guitars, and Ziggy Stardust is a perfect cover for them to do.
No,
first off,
beautiful fit for that.
Yeah, and they didn't. They kept it pretty true to the original, but just kind of updated it to their sound, which was a little bit louder, a little bit more aggressive, and the dude's voice fit the song perfectly.
Yeah, you couldn't have picked a better singer to take on that song.
The Wallflowers take on Heroes, I felt that it was very much a kind of 90s kind of chill alt rock band version of
and again
a
for
perfect song that lends itself to that.
For a singer that let's be honest, I like the Wallflowers a lot.
Yeah.
But
they're a damn good band.
They really are. I got to see them live a couple years ago, and it was
jealous of that.
It was a good show. It was a really good show. But Jakob Dylan doesn't have the greatest range on his voice.
No.
Like he doesn't have, like, he couldn't have done Ziggy Stardust justice.
Yeah.
But Heroes was a perfect song for his voice.
It worked really well.
And the same, I think that the team up of My Chemical Romance and The Used, which for sure My Chemical Romance was wildly inspired by David Bowie in many ways. Like,
oh yeah.
The concept albums about, especially if you look at Danger Days, which I love that record. I feel like it didn't get the play that it deserved, because I love that record.
I agree. It was a great record. I don't think it ever really... Well, it got a lot of airplay from the singles, but I don't think it ever really got the notoriety that
it didn't get noticed the same way that the Black Parade did.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't get all the articles about, like, how My Chemical Romance is bringing back the concept album. I guess because they'd already brought back the concept album.
Yeah.
But I thought the pairing of these, like, emo goth icons, that they're both actually pretty great singers. Like Burt McCracken and what's his face from My Chemical Romance, Gerard Way.
Gerard Way, yeah.
And Gerard Way are both actually really good singers. They have phenomenal vocal ranges, and the way that they emote, I think there's a lot of Bowie in that.
And I do love the fact that, like, if anybody was going to cover Under Pressure, that it would have been two bands doing it together.
Right.
Because that's the way it originally was. It was a duet between David Bowie and Queen. And so, like, that's much better than just a single band going in and covering Under Pressure.
So, yeah, it was very difficult, and I, like, erased and, like, changed what I picked a couple times before settling on the one I did.
Yeah. The interesting thing is I think I ended up going with the one that I kind of had pegged in my mind that I thought I would go with before we started this.
Okay.
Not to take anything away from the other two. All three of them were, I thought, very, very good covers. I just kind of ended up going with what I thought I was going to end up with.
That's fair. Well, shall we reveal what those were?
All right.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
All right.
Okay, then. So, that was actually the one I was guessing that you might pick when we were going into this.
Okay.
And I went after we were listening to the songs, especially the way that you were grooving to the using My Chemical Romance version. It's like, well, maybe he likes that one. But I feel like stylistically a lot of the music Kevin writes is more in like the Wallflowers era, so maybe he went for that one. So
I was a mystery in this one. A mystery shrouded in a cloud of uncertainty.
Well, shall we reveal what the others picked as well? Let's see what you had for me, sir.
All right.
Kevin thought I would like Under Pressure because my chem.
And Michael said I would pick Bauhaus because impressed by in-studio sound, which I was. That sounded so badass on the studio speakers in here.
Yeah, it's a different listening experience for sure. So we both picked correctly in this case. So no change in scores this time around. But yeah, I mean, listening through these songs again, it saddened me because it really brought to the forefront what an incredible talent and the range of people from Bauhaus to the Wallflowers to the used My Chemical Romance and continuing forward, I'm sure artists
and to many others that we were looking up before.
Oh yeah.
Before this episode.
Well, there was Smashing Pumpkins was in there.
Yeah. TV on the radio.
TV on the radio. We almost included one of the songs off of the Life Aquatic soundtrack, which was nothing but David Bowie covers in this really chill acoustic way.
There was Nirvana also, which was a previous episode of Uncovered, which is
you should go back and watch the Man Who Sold the World episode of Uncovered. But we lost a great one. We really did.
We did. Man, like one of the most influential artists that has ever graced our presence in the rock and roll world.
Yep. So David Bowie, we're all gonna miss you. Thank you for what you gave us, and thank you guys for tuning into Uncovered. It's really a privilege to get to sit here and talk about music and to experience this thing that we love so much in a little bit deeper way than we usually do when just listening things. So thank you for joining us for that. If you enjoy what you're seeing here, please subscribe to the Permanently Geek channel where this and many other great shows reside. And we will see you next week with fresh episodes of Uncovered. Thank you so much. Once again, my name is Michael McFarland.
I'm Kevin Conaway.
And we will see you around.